Since the dawn of time, humanity has tried to make sense of what it doesn't understand. Folklore, legends, and even religions were born when groups of people attempted to place meaning on the experiences they encountered every day. Imagine our ancestors sitting around a fire, finally free from the day's work of simply trying to survive, looking up into the sky and wondering. They had no knowledge of a solar system. They couldn't explain why the sun rose every day or how lightning could set the forest on fire. These times of group introspection led humanity to mentally evolve. They paved the way for science, exploration, technological advancement, and enlightenment. Each of these was a catalyst which has brought us to where we are today. We have ventured into space. We have plunged the depths of the deepest ocean. We know more about terrestrial life than we ever have, and we have access to information at our fingertips. Yet, there is still much mystery in this world. For example, what happens to our consciousness after we die? Who or what is God? Why are we here? Is this life simply a simulation and we have no free will? These types of questions still plague philosophers and the general population. No matter how much we're distracted by technology and material wealth, we still lay awake at night, looking up into that darkness, and we wonder. As a species, we prefer order to chaos, and this is why we strive to find answers to the unknown. It's frustrating and even frightening when we cannot receive a solid answer to the questions that we ask. Humans are on an ongoing crusade to reveal the truth of the universe, and even wars have been fought in the name of unproven beliefs. Unfortunately, it's likely that mystery will still exist in our lives, and in fact, any attempt to try and be all-knowing, omniscient, will leave us confused. But what if we're okay with this situation? Just as in our fear of missing out video, what if we accept that we can never know everything and choose to be happy with what we do know? On every continent, in every culture, there is a yearning to find out the origin of our species. People dedicate their lives to attempting to answer this question and, of course, the meaning of life. One of the earliest cultures that kept written and illustrated records was Sumeria. The earliest record of a Sumerian creation myth is called the Eridu Genesis. It's found on a single fragmentary tablet excavated in Nippur in 1893. But the age of the tablet itself is much, much older. Dated to around 1600 BCE, the story unfolds and describes how the gods have decided to send a flood to destroy mankind. Enki, god of the underworld, warns Zeustra, the ruler of Shuruppak, to build a large boat. It describes a flood, a terrible storm that rages for 7 days and 7 nights. It says the huge boat has been tossed about on the great waters. Then, Utu, the sun, appears. Does any of this sound familiar? Variations of this story have been told across the centuries in many different countries. This familiarity is due to a need for humans to use symbols and archetypes to explain complex situations or mysteries. It's not isolated to just one society, it is global. It hurts for us to not know or not understand an event, so instead, we attach meaning and stories that everyone can imagine and follow, no matter if you're a child listening for the excitement of the tale, or an adult attempting to unravel the enigma. If you're thinking, well, I don't see the mystery in things, I don't care about how the world was created, I'll just get on with my life, then let's explain an unknown mysterious factor that you will certainly relate to. It's the question of the past and future. When we look back at past events, be they a few weeks ago or even decades ago, we can never be 100% sure of what happened. This is why people find history, archaeology, true crime, and other reflective subjects fascinating. It's the element, no matter how small, of not being entirely sure. You can only base your opinion on the knowledge you're presented with, especially if the event happened to someone else. In your own life, you may seek to remember a childhood vacation, a birthday, a trip to the cinema. But in reality, no matter what video footage or photographs you have, you will never remember it entirely. You are relying on your narrow experience of the time, or someone else's memory, which will always be subjective and just as hazy as your own. Some parts remain a mystery, and you can never recreate the exact moment or feeling. The same is true for the future. You may have set plans for yourself, but these will inevitably rely on the world around you and on other people playing their role. Most of the future is a closed book, with just plot points laid out, stepping stones for you to reach as you jump over huge swathes of the unknown. A great example of this desire to clarify our future is seen in businesses. The stock market, banking, projections, forecasting call volumes in a contact centre, trying to stay one step ahead based on past trends. We are even willing to pay thousands of pounds to analysts who are trained to predict the future. In day-to-day life, there are still a large number of people who seek help from tarot readers, astrologists, and other mystics who claim to be able to see into the future. Maybe the reason for this is that on a base level, we all hope to have some certainty, and we believe that there are humans who possess innate foresight. On a smaller level, most people use apps or websites to predict the weather for them, hoping to be able to plan their week ahead. As we talked about in the fear of missing out, you cannot predict what is going to happen in all places at any one time. There is just no way to attend to everything in a single moment that is happening on the planet. So, although the present is the best source of information to predict the future, you will tie yourself in knots trying to cover all bases and end up in a state which is called analysis paralysis. This is where you are trying to split your mind off into many different parts, trying to desperately be present in all facets of your life in a single moment, analysing what the best option is. But then, due to the magnitude of the impossible task, you end up feeling trapped, paralysed, and not progressing at all. One of the strongest drives to find answers comes from anxiety or fear. We do not know what is happening light years away from us. We do not understand or know what is truly beyond the edge of the universe. We have no idea if at any moment the thing holding this universe together will end and human life will be extinguished. This fear is also why people try to avoid the larger questions in life. They concentrate on making their present life and known events as stable as possible. Giving birth, dying, procreating, learning, these are all governed by human rules and rituals which are now set in place by laws and governments. If something deviates into the unknown, there is panic, and people attempt to make new rules and new regulations to combat the chaos. Did you know that fighting for truth is the same as fighting for a solid resource like land or food? Humans value their beliefs and hopes so highly that truth becomes something tangible and can be the basis of conflict. Those members of society who have what we perceive to be the truth also have the power over us. We want to follow them because they give us comfort from the painful, mysterious questions of the universe. They make each day a little easier and become something for us to attach ourselves to and follow. But the issue with writing down what we believe are the truths of the universe is that they can be turned into sacred texts. Over the years, this is what has happened in many cultures, and eventually it becomes sacrilegious to go against the views that are expressed in the original writing. Following a set of rules and viewpoints without questioning them and believing that they are the only certain things in the universe is called dogma. Dogma is a principle or set of principles laid down by an authority as incontrovertibly true. We used to place people in authority from religious settings, political settings, and in fact we still do this. Therefore, we allow a small group of people with extreme views and their own agenda to rule the majority of us, simply because we fear what we cannot explain and would rather have someone else figure it out for us. This type of mindset is very limiting, and by attaching yourself to one set of beliefs, you end up in a them versus us situation. For example, die-hard conspiracy theorists, atheists, some organised religions, political activists, even science is followed as dogma and will elicit conflict. The key is to be open to new information and different points of view. Most importantly, acknowledge the fact that if something is unknown or mysterious, that's okay. Because whatever theory we adopt, there will always be some evidence somewhere that proves our belief isn't foolproof and adds just a grain of mystery back into it. The only setback to having an open mind is that if you follow your overriding instinct to want to know everything, you become the polar opposite of someone who is dogmatic. You will accumulate knowledge, consume facts and information, constantly seeking the truth, but then nothing will happen because all you have done is gather possible answers. You haven't been able to make up your mind and face the chaos. The best type of mindset is to be balanced. Embrace the feeling that there is always some chaos in the universe, and also accept the fact that you, as a human on planet Earth, are part of that. After all, mystery has brought us things that we enjoy, as well as things we fear. Imagine a world without wonder. Imagine a world where you know exactly what will happen in the next year, down to the very day, the very minute, the second. Mystery keeps us on our toes and keeps us creating, solving problems. It's just that we need to remember the value of the unknown. It is to be marvelled at, not feared, which is easier said than done. Our final point may help you if you are not convinced about leaving your intellectual safety net behind. If you still feel deep down that you need to know everything. There is something to be said for the power of faith. You can see this most prominently in people who follow a religious mindset. Their faith dictates that logic and reason can only be part of the journey. By having faith that there is something larger than the frontiers of our current knowledge, a religious person accepts that there will always be an air of mystery about their life. This could be regarding the choices they make, what happens after death of the body, and even what their ultimate goal is. So while organised religion can be limiting or dogmatic, there is a great value attached to being able to peacefully accept that you do not have full control, and that you will never have total understanding of the universe. If you have enjoyed this video and you're inspired by what you've seen, don't forget to like, subscribe and share. Let's change the world together.